is the Frequency Control Show. You got me and Willie Stride up in this.
What up?
All right,
What up?
been a minute. Took a week off, trying to get refreshed, I guess. So here we are on our path again. Believe in your path. So a different angle on some of the same thing, but really, it sounds redundant. But think about this is all about your path. Your journey through life, how you approach it, and the best way to approach it. So I'm gonna let Will kick this off.
Yeah, it's like we've been talking about now here of the past few episodes. We've been talking about how we kind of had some epiphanies on this information and applying it and really understanding the getting obsessed with it piece and how important it is to, you know, from my understanding of where I've been at, really clearly defining what I want and then getting obsessed with it. And the point of getting obsessed with it is so my subconscious mind, so it soaks into my subconscious mind. And then infinite intelligence kicks in and shows me an undeniable path of action that I can't, the how, uncontrollably the how on how to achieve it. And I feel, and then I've, after kind of going through those steps and realizing I've already felt that moment 2 years ago, you know, to where it's almost like it's already done. And how fast it shows up in our life is how fast we can see these things and use them properly to be able to achieve the success, right? But it's so, but going back to, you know, I've been able to clearly define what I want. And here's what's different this time is I've been clearly defining what I want, but now I've clearly defined something that I need. It's not a want anymore. This needs to happen because the thing that I've been missing is I've been thinking about what I want and this future I want and what it to look like. But my main game or my chief aim to get there is not what I need to happen to be able to achieve that, right? So now I finally dialed into my main game being what I need to actually achieve what I want and what I'm picturing in my future. So now that I've clearly defined what I want and I clearly have a plan of attack on how I'm going to achieve it, and I have clearly written down what I'm going to give back when I achieve this. And it just so happens that what I'm going to give back just so happens to be my definite major purpose that's pulling all of this towards it. So that is for myself a really solid full circle right there. I have a full I have a full solid circle of what I want. I have my I have the bigger picture, my definite major purpose. And then I have my chief aim or my main games on what my next goals are to achieve that. And the plan of attack on how I'm going to achieve that. And that how I'm going to achieve that makes sense from what I could see after getting a burning desire to think about it all the time and think about what it feel like to be in that position and what I'm going to give back after achieving this level of success. And achieving this level of success just so happens to be my definite major purpose. So this is a very huge circle to be on. And and my path is so real and so in tune that every time I step outside my door, it's giving me hints that I'm on the right path. So this is how important my circle is. You know, I clearly define what I wanted. More clear that it's not a want, it's a need. This is actually what needs to happen for me to be able to achieve what I see in my future. I have a definite plan of attack on how I'm going to get there. and it lines up, and that plan of attack is big enough that it lines up for me to be able to achieve what I want. And my what I'm going to and the what I'm going to give back after I achieve this success, that happens to be my definite purpose. And this is such an amazing circle, and this path is so real and so definite. Every time I step out of my house, I have an experience that shows me I'm on the right path. Robert can attest to this. Every time I go to his house, we have an experience that shows I gotta go home and keep going back to work because I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. That's how in tune I am with this path. I'm so in tune with it, and this is what I've noticed now. Now that we're here, it seems like we've been getting in the point of these podcasts where our weekly life experiences is this is real life. This is what the show's about, are every week, right? So I have to believe in my path. I have to believe that things that I see on my path are show up for a reason. Just these little things. And I'm going to show you an example. I have to believe that the signs that I see along my path, that these signs are to show me that I'm on the right path. And I'm mentioning this because it's almost like, I'm having these coincidences, right? Even though there's no such thing as coincidence. But here's the thing is, I'm having such a magnitude of a coincidence that it can't not be talked about. And I have to be able to believe in my path, that this is a sign that I'm on the right path. And here's why I want to talk about this is I've clearly defined what I want, right? And I've been, to help with the obsession of it, I've been thinking about all kinds of different things going on in this scenario when I'm there, right? And there's this particular instance that I am thinking about happening 3 years from now. So 3 years from now, I have this scenario that I'm thinking about happening in my head that's going to happen 3 years from now, and I'm going to be at this place of success, that I'm going to be able to do this. And this is it's extremely vital that I achieve this level of success, to be in the right position at this moment of time in the future to do what I want to do in this moment. So it's very vital that I achieve success. So when this moment in time actually comes, I'm at the correct success point, that I'm able to do what I want to do in this particular moment 3 years from now. And just this week, I haven't talked to this person for 2 years. I haven't talked to this person in 2 years. And the first time I talked to this person in 2 years, I go through this. I'm going to take you through this story, this scenario. Okay? I haven't talked to this person in 2 years, and there's a reason. It's because, when you start vibrating at a high level, people that you don't vibrate with start disappearing. And this particular person I haven't had any contact with for 2 years, because up until this point, I've been susceptible to the negative energy, and I have dropped to the lower level, and it brings me down to a lower level, interacting in this way, right? So I haven't talked to this person in like 2 years. And here I am engaging, with this person. And this is such a major coincidence in 2 years. This is what I'm talking about. This is a major coincidence. such a major coincidence that I have to believe this experience is on my path for a reason to show me something. Because I know once I clearly define what I want, events, circumstances, people, situations will start happening in my life that's leading me down towards the success I'm trying to get to. And that could be just a text conversation event. And this is a high level event, especially after having zero contact for 2 years. So here we are, and I'm vibrating at a higher place, and I'm ready to engage in this conversation because I know I'm at a higher place that I am not going to allow myself to stoop down and vibrate negatively because I'm vibrating high. We've been on the show. We've been dialing in our thinking, our thoughts. This person has even been in my life 2 years. So here we go. We're rolling. I start to break a little bit.
I think you're frozen. Unless you're just that good at staying frozen. All right, guys. So we're gonna give him a second to get back on. I think something is going on over there. We'll just hold off for just a second. Try to figure this out. Oh, here we go. He'll be back. Give it a minute. He's on to something. Here he comes. All right, and he's back. Looks like he's frozen again.
Oh man.
There he is. What happened?
I don't know. Are we still good? I was right and ready to go.
Good.
I'm gonna leave everything as it is. It's all black.
Oh,
it's all black where I'm at. I'm just gonna continue then. So
yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
It's all black where I am. I can't see. Okay, so here I am. Wow, this is amazing. Here I am on my path, or here I am engaging this conversation, and I'm slipping a little bit. So here I am in that moment where I feel myself slipping, like my energy, like I feel it, like, oh my God, this is exactly what I don't want. And I felt bad. I felt bad that I was still in this moment, knowing I was better, that I still allowed myself, that I started to slip. But in that moment, I decided I was going to fix this slip, and I started responding negatively, and I changed it. And I changed the scenario so much that at the end, I needed to be at the end, like at the end of the conversation, like what the whole conversation was about was this person needed me to be this person now that I see myself 3 years from now in that event. Now I want to repeat that. In this moment, even after all this stuff and my weakness and being in that moment that I was weak and I felt my I even have a note on my wall that said I got slapped in the face, because I got slapped in the face because I once again started to allow someone else's negativity bring me down and respond negatively. But I was able to say, no, I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to allow myself to go out like that, because I've taken very long time to be a better person. I've taken a long time here to vibrate at a higher level. So I am not going to accept me breaking a little bit and being that person again, acting that way again, and uh, being disrespectful again when I don't need to be. I need to be better than that. I need to bring people up, not be disrespecting people. I need to be helping people, not putting people down, right? So here I am, see myself slipping, and I fixed it in that moment and responded, and I apologize, like I didn't mean that, right? And this and that, you know what I mean? And came from a place of gratitude, and in the end of it, being at a place where being able to have an adult conversation, and then realizing my role in this whole thing, and realizing that it's not ideal, but seeing that in this event, I am already the person. I'm already the person. What's needed for me is already the person that I envision 3 years from now, in the moment that I've been thinking about constantly, just to help with the obsession of thinking about what I want all the time, because it makes me feel good of being this person in this moment 3 years from now, to be able to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do a good thing, right? But I have to be at a highly successful position in my life to be able to do this gesture that is a very good gesture for me to do, and also slaps a couple faces in the meanwhile as well. Okay. Okay, we'll just, but in a positive way, you know what I'm saying? So this is what I want to get in. So I see this moment, and I have on my table written down, clearly define what I want. Next to that, I have up on a piece of paper my plan of attack to achieve it. Next to that, I have another piece of paper of what I'm going to give back when I achieve this success. And that just so happens to be my definite major purpose, all written out in front of me. And here I am having experiences of already being this person that I'm seeing 3 years from now being able to do, and already having events in my life 3 years in advance right now that I'm already that person. I am already needed to be that person. And I have to be able to believe in my path and have confidence so much that I'm on the right path, that these coincidences are signs. I've already achieved it. The only thing that is missing is, have I taken the correct action on my plan of attack on how I'm going to achieve it? That's the only thing missing. I'm already experiencing situations where I'm that person that I am seeing 3 years from now being able to do. It's already done. I already need to be that person now. So the only question is, have I taken the correct action of what I can see of the how, to put myself in that position to finally receive the gifts? And the answer is no, but I know exactly what I need to do, and I'm working on it. And it's taken time, and I could have already had it done 2 years ago. I could have already had it done 2 years ago, had I known, had I had my path more clearly defined at the time. But I didn't have my path as clearly defined at that time as I do now. But thank God, my subconscious mind already gave me that obsession of action and what I need to do to already do it and finish it. It's not 2 years later that I realized I already had my infinite intelligence already kicked in for me 2 years ago. But I wasn't on my path to be able. I didn't even see it. This is how I think the timeline is like. And now you start seeing. This is how we notice things that are happening, and how things we've done 2 years ago is blessing us now. It's almost like the things we're doing now aren't even going to bless me right now, because I hadn't even got a blessing from what I finished 2 years ago. So the things I'm doing, I haven't even received that yet. So the things that I think I need to be doing now, that I didn't push the first thing I finished properly, I just left it and started a bunch of new stuff. those new things is what's going to double that down the road, right? I still haven't received the blessings from the thing I've already finished 2 years ago. That just so happens now I see that that was my obsession, that was my subconscious mind telling me this is what you need to do. This is the action you need to take, because it was uncontrollable. I talked about this last podcast. This was the uncontrollable action I had. I had a burning desire to finish it, and nothing was going to stop me. I feel like that was my subconscious mind and infinite intelligence showed me this is the path. I just didn't see it at the time that was a path to get what I want, to everything I was vibrating. And all of it still just kind of, all of it lines up, but now it's dialed in so much. I remember that. And this is how, man, what we want, it's like it's already done. And this is the point I'm trying to get. It's already done. I could have already had it 2 years ago, but I am not smart enough to know the how and see the path, and I wasn't even attuned enough to see what I was doing with the obsession to finishing it, because I wasn't at this point I am now with the information and dissecting it properly at that time 2 years ago. I still wasn't at this place soaking in all this information and having that aha moment of burning desire. And because the whole point is because it's so hard to figure out the how. How am I going to do it? And technically, we're not supposed to know the how, right? The obsession with thinking about what we want is how the next logical steps are supposed to happen. The actions that we're supposed to take is supposed to happen from us getting just obsessed with thinking about what we want. And then the action will come, right? But we're so bent on we have to take so much action. And I bought into Robert's action as well. We just got to take action and something will happen. But now that we're at this point now where we've been taking the action and now we're seeing where, man, some of the mental stuff and the thinking, how important the thinking is along with the action, because you got to get your mind right and your obsessions. And I was thinking, well, look at all the vehicles I was working on this last month. All of these, they're like 6 vehicles. You know what I mean? And they do line up, but these are all future because, and this, including this podcast, but these are all future things because there's something I need to achieve in my life for all these frequency control shows and all these other things, this daily takeoff checklist, for all these other things to really bear fruit. I need to have something happen in my life first, because then all you people listening will fucking pay attention.
This might be your first F-bomb.
Hey, that's okay. There you go. I had to get it out. Now you'll pay attention, right? So this has to happen. So this has been such an amazing round of the past few weeks of shows. We have missed a couple weeks here, but now I'm just talking about my path of what I've showed. And I could tell you, how horrible my weeks have been. I could tell you all the things that I'm struggling with right now. I could tell you the woes that I've having over the past couple weeks. But you know what? None of that matters, because all that matters is I am on the right path. I'm on the right path. And I am so on the right path. I am having major coincidences, events that I am having, small things in my day to day. And this is why again, it's so important to clearly define what you want, because if I didn't finally define what I want, which is not what I want anymore, I clearly defined what I needed to have happen for me to be able to live what I picture in my future and what I want, and being able to to give back, which is my definite purpose. And so now I clearly define what I needed, what I need to achieve, and that plan of attack, what I'm going to give back, which happens to be my definite purpose, and all through this amazing path. And I wanted to get on this because this path is like a real thing. Like I'm getting really in tune with this, and I have to believe that these signs, because here's the thing is I can have things happen along my path and be like, well, is that really something that's going to help me? Is this really, is this really, you can have all these questions. Is this a distraction? Is this something good? Is this something bad? Do I need to follow it? Do I not need to follow it? But you know what I mean? You can have all these things happen, but you have to take in consideration every time I go somewhere. I can go to Roberts right now, and I know we'll go somewhere. We'll all have an experience that shows me I just need to hurry the fuck up and get back home and keep working because I'm on the right path. And he can attest to it because it happens every time. I had a conversation with Jess a few times ago that was just like, oh my gosh, she could help with, she's a potential person who could be a customer for this daily takeoff checklist. I got to go home and get these audios done. It was just, you couldn't get a perfect conversation of a slap in the face. And then I just went back out there a while back and had an amazing conversation helping somebody mentally, right? And all this, and just to those are the little things that I have to believe. I have to believe in my path. And I have to believe that these high level coincidences are showing me signs that I'm on the right path. These are the signs to be, you've already done. It's already achieved. You've already achieved it. You know what action you need to take. So have you finished taking that action? That's the only thing. Everything else has happened. Think about it. I'm already having events that show me I need to be this person now, not 3 years from now. Not 3 years from now. I need to be this person now. Because this person I'm going to be could benefit people right now. I have an opportunity to help people right now. If being at that success level 3 years from now with this same opportunity that's in my head 3 years from now, I could benefit these people right now, and they're asking me for it. They're asking me for what I want to give them 3 years from now. They're asking me please now. So you cannot tell me that this already hasn't happened. This is already, I'm sitting back smoking a cigar knowing I've already achieved this. This has already happened. How can I possibly have this conversation? I've just been thinking about this the past couple weeks. This exact scenario has only come in my head the past few weeks after I've clearly defined what I want and got this burning desire thing going, right? And oh my gosh. So how is it that now I'm having experiences that I need to be this person now? This is what I wanted to share. I have to believe in my path, and I have to believe in these little things going on in my life, that these are showing me that you're already there, homie. This is already done for you. Your story's already written. Pop the bottle. Pop the bottle. Take a sip, because you've already achieved it. All you have to do is finish what you know you need to finish. It's written right there. It's sitting on the table right there in front of you, what you need to do. Have you finished it yet? Oh, and by the way, to show you that you need to finish that, here's a couple experiences in your life to show you that this is the right circle. How exciting is that? And that's what I want to share. And I hope I articulated in a way that made some sort of sense, because it is not easy. It's not easy to explain. And here's the thing. You can even say, let's say I'm wrong. let's say I'm making all this up. This is the cool part. Let's say I'm making all this up in my head. Let's say I am a wacko. Dude, these are just things that happen. It doesn't show you on the right path or not because you don't know for sure. Here's the thing. I believe it so much, and it's so much of a high level coincidence that it's going to happen anyways. I'm going to make it happen anyways because I believe it so much. I believe my path is real. And I believe all those papers I have written out in steps on how I'm going to get it is real. Because because this is what I know it because it's what I want. And now I know what I need to have happen for me to get what I want. And now I'm having experiences in my life to be that person now. I know it's already happened. And this is just something I just wanted to share, man. You have to believe in your coincidences. And these are high level coincidences. Think about it. I haven't engaged 2 years, right? Come on, man. It's not just out the blue, even though it is out the blue. But how does that even happen? And then to me in a point to where I started to become weak, and I fixed that moment of weakness. And the experience happened to be happened to be a major experience to show me I'm that person right now. I need to be that person right now. I could benefit these people right now if I was this person 3 years from now, right now. That's just personal. And uh, just their negativity bringing me down. Being better, being realized that I'm starting to slip in that moment. I started to slip in that moment so much I got a sign in my room saying I got a slap in the face because of how horrible I was feeling. Because I have a thing about feeling bad and I always feel good. So to be slipping in that moment and feeling bad again in that moment after 2 years, knowing I was in a better place, I sucked it up in that moment, changed my energy, vibrated a higher level, and changed the energy of the whole interaction. That it ended up to be a benefit in my favor of a revealing that my path is ridiculous on the real tip for how real this really is. That I'm already who I want to be in the future. I just have to finish implementing the action I can see. I can see I need to finish I need to finish taking my action. But how amazing does it feel to know that this has already happened by what I am seeing as major events happening in my day to day. Major events, but they're small things. They're major events, but they're small things. And then I tie it into every time I go outside of my home. Every time I go to your house, Robert, I have the same type of experiences. You've seen it. So this, how many do I need to have to believe that this is real? And what else am I believing in? I mean, if I'm not believing and I'm achieving what I want, then what am I doing here, right? So realistically, right? Like, you got to believe in something. But I just wanted to I really wanted to just talk about this path, and you have to believe in your path. You have to believe that the little signs you see on the path are showing you that you're on the right path, and that should help build your confidence to keep taking action, to keep pushing towards it, to keep succeeding in the basic stuff that you're doing in your life, that you're trying to graduate from. be even more successful at that, because it's going to lead you towards what you want even quicker. You know, even the even my basic job right now is better because I have a new outlook on it, because I've clearly defined what I wanted so much. And this energy of now what I'm chasing at my job, this energy directly lines up with what I need to have happen in order to achieve it. What I need to have happen. And what an amazing place to be vibrating so much, to be obsessed with what I want so much, to have all the papers written out on my table on my success station that I have in my room, and the whole path written out from my definite, all leading up to my definite purpose, and how all in tune it is. And then to have experiences in my life that show me I already need to be that person now. I already am that person. Those things are already needed for me, that I am thinking 3 years from now. I'm not really ready. I'm not really ready to give those blessings right now. Right? But those blessings are already needed from me now when I'm picturing them 3 years from now. And that's a really exciting place to be. And that's what I wanted to share today about, don't be scared of the path. Don't listen to people who don't want to hear about your path, who don't understand it. You know, don't be, just because you talk to people about your path and they're like, I don't understand, I don't get it, they can't relate to it, doesn't make it not real. It doesn't make it fake.
It's funny because I just noticed this today. Like, I've got to watch how much I talk about my path, because I will throw somebody off in a second, and because they can't wrap their mind around it, it just seems so big to them that they can't even fathom what I'm talking about, and they shut their brain off. They just stop listening. They're just like, "Wow, that's crazy. You might as well be talking about like fucking being in a Harry Potter movie to me." Like,
Right?
and it's crazy because it's like even my wife, I'm talking to her and I'm like, you know, if I talk about reality stuff, basic stuff like my businesses that are like very easy to wrap your head around, and then what I've got going in the future, and then like my stocks and stuff like that. Even stocks start to throw her off. But like when I get into like this music thing and like where it could go, and like it seems so out there that literally you can see the glazed over eyes and like not no longer listening, moving on in her head. Like she's just like back, hey Jameson, gonna take the shower. It's just like, like I just literally start talking, and it's like soon as I get into that stuff, switched off, done. And it's the craziest thing. It's like it's literally, but you can't let that get, like Will was saying, you can't let that get to you to where you're like, just they even say some of the stuff. Sometimes you just don't want to tell everybody your plans and your dream. I mean, what's the point? You're the only one who needs to believe in you. You're the only one who needs that. Yes, it is powerful if everybody else believes in you too, and that's amazing. But you don't need to wait for the perfect scenario for the stars to align. When people wait for stars to align, nothing's gonna happen for you. If you wait for pure chance, but if you work your butt off towards something, chances are you're having a better chance. It's like, but I just noticed that, like, talking to anybody about like what I do with music, like, nobody gets it. No, there's not a person out there. And it's just like, not anybody I know. Nobody really can even wrap their head around it. And then we start to realize this stuff when we start getting on other people to follow their dreams. And it isn't that they don't believe in our dream. At first, I was thinking, hey, these people just don't even believe in that I can do it. But once I start saying, hey, you're very talented, you should do X, Y, Z, man, and I'll help you. And they're like, I just don't see myself being able to do that. They're literally like in a box, and that's it. And they're like, I can't. There's no way. So then, I mean, really, if you don't think they can't believe in themselves, what makes you think they can believe in you? Right? If they can't believe in themselves, there's no way they're going to believe in you. So when you start spelling out your path to people. You know, you can't let it discourage you. I let it discourage me all the time because it's like, you know, nobody gets it. You know, it's like it starts to get frustrating, and you just go, man, is it that crazy? But you know, I watched this thing on Jay Z. His uncle, he tells his uncle like, basically he says, you know, people. He goes, people telling me can't do it because they know they can't do it. He goes, no, no, no. I can do it. You can't do it. Don't start saying I can't do it because you know you could never do it. I can do it though. Like, and he goes, people will project their fears on you, and then start telling you not to do something that they're scared to do. But that doesn't mean it's wrong for you to go for it. It means that they're wrong and they can't get there just because they don't believe they could do it. So they tell you not to do it. You know, it's like you being scared to make a bet on $100,000 on the football game, and somebody tells you, "Dude, do not do that." Why? Because they're worried about going broke themselves. If they were to do it, they're putting themselves in your shoes. They're being empathetic, and they're going, "I would go broke." It's like, yeah, but I won't. That's why I'm making the bet. You know, like I'm making the bet. You're not making the bet. Don't start making decisions with your freaking wallet. You don't know what my wallet looks like. So in the same thing, your wallet and your value you have in your whole being, you know. And so it's funny. Jay Z's uncle, he goes. Well, I know my uncle's getting tired of me saying this same damn story, always like rubbing it in. He goes, but it's a great example. He told me, you'll never sell a million records. You're crazy. He's like, you know what's funny, man? I sold a million records like a million times. So he said I couldn't do it. I did a million times it, you know. And he's like, it's like he goes because he was thinking there's no way, it just seems so big and grand to him, they can't wrap their, but that's their fear. He goes, and if I had to listen to him, what would he have been, you know? And he's the one of the most legendary to ever do it, and you're just going, wow. And he wasn't even like anybody's favorite at first, you know what I mean, until Pac and Big died, then he became the coolest. You know, like if those guys are still alive, what at Big L, that what would have happened, you know? So um but it's just that crazy that people project their fears on you. And so when you start stating your path to people, be careful because you're susceptible because you're human to being discouraged by their fear and what they're scared of and the box they've put themselves in. They try to put you in the same box they're in. Like, come on in here and let's be scared and just do basic ass shit. That's why I laugh when like my wife wants me to be regional vice president of a company or something, you know, which I'm like, okay, so I get 250 a year and then that's all. I don't remember any of my dreams saying 250,000 a year. Like, there's not one where I was like, oh, that seems so far out of reach. I'm like, I just know that. Okay, so now I'm at 80 hours a week, making $250,000 a year, and that's it.
And a slave.
No, but that's it. So I'm capped out. Well, eventually you could buy home after home after home, and then you know eventually get to like a million. Well, I don't know about you, but a million isn't what I'm going for. That's not the number. So that's not the path. You know what I mean? Doing something I hate or capped out. I can't have no ceilings on what I'm doing, and like for me, I just anything like that. It was even I was even thinking that about the current thing I'm doing now. I'm like it's hard to scale what I'm doing right now and to anything. I'll make 200, but it's like there's a ceiling to that. I can't go further than that unless I start hiring people and doing that, and then I'm really going for and living out the life of somebody else because that's not what I want to do. So like yeah, it has the money value, but that my goal wasn't to live a life of money. My goal was to live a life of what I want to do, and then you know money's merely the thing that helps us move around a little bit easier, you know. So it's but people try to put that little square on you and that box and just say this is where you can be, and it's based on their fears, their insecurities, their ineptness, their unwillingness to take action and believe something larger and bigger. Um, so that's not not where I'm at. But I just noticed that when you said that, it resonated with me because it's like as soon as I start telling anybody what I'm doing, I literally see their eyes glaze over and they're like, I don't even comprehend. And why are you talking that crazy shit? Nobody would have believed me if I told them I was gonna work with Snoop Dogg. Nobody. It was funny that just yesterday I was driving from, or the day before yesterday, I was driving home from or what was it yesterday? I don't know. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I'm driving home from Bend, Oregon, and my kid's like, "So, can you play one of those songs you made with Snoop Dogg and those guys?" And I'm like, "I don't have one on my phone." I'm like, "Oh, Alexa, like, so just say it on Amazon. Play "Stayed Out All Night" with the Dog Pound, and it pops up. I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious!" So something I made in my basement many years ago with the Snoop and all that other shit. But it's kind of cool. But nobody would have believed that before. Even my kids don't believe it until I'm saying, "Hey Alexa, play this." Like I told him about Will. Will never believed I was really doing what I was doing until he was on stage with Snoop and them. Like I know damn well he was like, "This was lying," saying he's going there. He's probably just going out to the bar.
No, never think that.
Till you're on stage hanging out. But people can't wrap their head around it. But you know your path, believe in your path, but remember, you're already trying to convince yourself to believe super big. You're already trying to, it's hard for you. It's your belief. You have a skill set and you're working your butt off to believe that big. I do. I do all this. I take in all this information and I work very hard on trying to make sure I believe and feel like what it feels like in reality, and all these things, all these little techniques to try and believe big. And if you have to do all that work, what makes you think someone else is who hasn't done any of that work to believe big and utilize the universe and all that stuff is gonna all of a sudden believe in you? They haven't read one of the books you've read. They don't even understand or comprehend that it's that easy. For instance, I have 8 or 9 songs from Rest in Peace Uncle Rio that I have finished, and they all are going to Snoop Dogg. Not to in my hard drive. They're going to Snoop Dogg. He's going to have them, and he's going to either use them, put them out, or do whatever he wants with them. But the bottom line is, those are all other opportunities, and people cannot even fathom it. I noticed I was talking to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law this weekend, and I was just happened to the kids were asking me about it randomly in front of them, and then I'm telling them, and they're like, "Oh, we're," and so they kind of inquired a little bit. You could see it was way over their heads, but like I'm like, "Yeah, man." So like, I'm gonna be giving that to him. He can do what he wants to do with it, and they literally, you can tell they don't even believe I mean, I finished songs with his favorite uncle, and he has it now. The chances of him putting one of those out is pretty good. Like, but they can't even wrap their head around that there would be a Snoop Dogg so like that I would be sending it. It just they couldn't even believe when I'm on stage with them. That's like neither could I as it was happening to me. But like at the same time, it's like remember, know your path, believe in your path, and understand that 99.9% of other people are not going to believe in your path. They're not going to believe in you. They're only going to believe what they have been conditioned to believe through the school, society, society. Really, so your schools and everything condition you to just, you know, be realistic. Be realistic means to have very small expectations of yourself. It's saying lower the bar. Like why? What's the point? If you go for something huge and you fall, you can always go get that regular job. It's like what are you missing out on? Being a lawyer or a doctor, which most of you will never fricking make because there's a difference between believing big and having the brains to be a brain surgeon. So that's some of that takes like you got to legitimately like stick with that stuff, but like doing a lot of these things, and that shame on me, that's kind of contradicting. If you want to be a brain surgeon, go be a brain surgeon. That's cool. But at the same time, most of us want to do something wild. Not all of us are like doing affirmations to go do something that takes money. You know, like to go say I want to be a surgeon. It's very action based. It's not belief based. It's go to this school because you have to. There's a requirement for that, right? Go to the school, take these classes for X amount of years, pass those classes. After you pass those classes, you have to go apply for this job. You know, so there's this very like, if you can pass those classes, you can now become a surgeon. You know, it's like becoming a plumber. You don't have to believe hella big to be you go do your training, go do the job. You know, like it's not like I want to become a famous star, or I want to be an actor, or I want to be a millionaire marketing guy. You know, because you know marketing isn't just read the material and do it. You have to like there's more belief in that. You know, that's not just you got to go to school, you get accepted in the marketing thing, and then you become a great marketer. That's just not how that works. You know, but with like doctor, lawyer, pass the bar. There you go. You're gonna be a lawyer. So now being the best lawyer in the world, that's a whole nother belief piece. But again, believe in your path, but remember most people won't believe in your path. Like I said, I tell people what I want to do. Rarely now, but when I do, I can tell that not a person goes, "Oh my god, dude, that's amazing." There's nobody other than other people that are aspiring to do big things. You know, oh man, that's cool. You know, it's funny because I know these other guys who I know will do something large just because of how they're moving and they're doing everything correctly, and they talk to me and you could tell they've kind of like dumbed down what they say, and I'm like all pumped up, like, man, I could tell you guys are on the right track, and I'm like all pumped about what they're doing, and they're like, they're thrown off because I actually believe in them, you know, because they're not used to somebody's energy where it's like, oh, you actually believe in me, like that throws them off, you know, and so it's funny because it's not normal that someone's gonna believe in something is possible to do something grand and huge, you know. Anyway, I think we lost Will, so you still there? Yeah, he's still there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you know. Anyway, it's rare for somebody to do that. So, and if you find somebody like that, you need to embrace that. You know, and take them on the journey with you because it's a rarity. You know.
I can't tell anybody about what I'm doing. I mean, I can, but
But it's just it's big, and there and
everyone's
most people would
everyone's just kind of like, oh, really?
yeah,
Like,
most people are like, dude, just most people are, I mean, really in their hearts and minds are like, dude, just go get a job, move up in the company, become the boss, and you know,
just be a manager. Will
make good money, do
just
good
go be
with
a
your
manager?
do good with your finances, invest, you know, save your
Hey,
cash.
there's no coincidence. These are the first people in line for a new vaccine and stuff.
It's cheap.
Guess we gotta watch out for that, I guess.
Well, not anymore. I guess masks are off here in March. Something. Even in the schools, dude,
Yeah.
I'm so sick of
Are
those
we
things. I got
coming to
like
the end? Are we
little
coming to
zits and
the
stuff from
end of the
wearing these
book?
masks over and over again.
We coming to the end of the BS?
I doubt it. I'd be willing to bet that they'll go. Oh, we're gonna need to extend this another 8 months, you know, and then it'll be 5 years later. Uh, anyway, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
let's not.
so last time we talked about the stuff that all of a sudden the whole podcast was muted, which is like
Really?
it's what they do with the music stuff. If you have somebody else song, they'll just mute your whole video. Well, they used to do that. Now they just have that other person monetize if you actually make any money out of it. So yeah, remember, believe in your path, and you know most other people aren't gonna comprehend it. Not that everybody's a hater, you know, which is partially true, but
Well,
but
actually,
but but even the ones who aren't and do want to see you win, they out of love for you will try to marginalize you. You know, out of the love for you, try to be like, dude, please just be safe, just get a job, be safe, move up, save your money, don't go crazy, again, buy that house, and then save some money, and then put some money in your 401k and your stocks, and just hold on, and 12% a year in your blue chip stocks, that's, you're growing your money better than the bank. And then just get in some investments, and it's like, slow burn, and then you go, oh, okay, cool. So that's like 40 years. I'll be good. I'll have my pension. Okay, right on. And then you die at 20 years. So that cheese was in 40 years based on your plan and of progress, and you died in 20. Like my friend David, rest in peace. He was very much like that. Move up, get a great job, be a slave to that job, put your money in your stocks, be good with your cash. Um, he still have his fun, safe fun. And then it's like, and then that slow burn and get big slowly. And, I remember him even with the music thing. He never really was like, oh, he'd be just like, right on, man, right on. He'd bump my beats and stuff, even in the early days. But like that was about it. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. He's like, okay, cool, man. Like whatever. He just wanted to hang out. But then when I got with Snoop, and then he was like, oh my god, he's doing it, and he'd brag all the time. But like, same guy, boom boom, gets cancer, dies at 45. You know, 30 years before he was ever gonna see any of that money the way he was putting his money together. What's the point? Like so. I'm not saying be stupid with your money. You find a hybrid version of that, because that's what I'm doing. I get a family and kids, and at some point they've got to eat, and you got to have, again, they say if you have a plan B, then you never really had a plan A, and how do you expect plan A to work, blah, blah, blah. But I've got, a safety net for the kids and all that stuff, so I've got to find a balance in what I'm doing. But at the same time, it's like most people are going to tell you, dude, just, that job, and it's like, how do you ever, you think any person who's rich as shit got there by being safe and just taking care of their stuff? No, they had to take some risk. Even the guys who are like, no, but he owns a lot of real estate. Yeah, but there was a section of time before he had all that money that had him gambling to get there, and move like that. So again, don't tell people your dreams as much, because they're not going to get it. Believe in yourself. It's self belief, not everybody else believing in you.
Believe in your path.
That's why it's funny that you can have everybody in your family not believe in what you're doing, and then have 100,000 strangers on freaking Instagram all totally believe in what you're doing and support you and like your posts. Just like, you could start a new business and your friends will scroll right by it on Facebook and Instagram or whatever. And then some guy who's already famous as shit, rich as hell, got $1 billion, Elon Musk, puts a post up, and they make sure to like it and share it. But you're their family member trying to grind. You just started a small business, and they won't even like it, let alone share it. Even if you put a big thing like, hey, all family and friends, could you please share this? I just started my new cupcake business, blah, blah, blah. And they'll just roll right past it and not share it. But, Janet Jackson, heart, share, comment, go through the comments. Oh man, the new Super Bowl? Like, oh look, it's Tom Brady with his 50th ring, and they're all over it. but you post about your kid kicking a field goal, they're not gonna do anything about it. Like you start a new business, they're not. They're typically not gonna support you. It's the funniest thing. I have a cousin too, same thing. She puts a post up. She goes, "It's so funny how like you guys will like businesses that are already thriving, like McDonald's, and post their stuff." She goes, "But I have a business and nobody ever, posts my stuff or doesn't." And I was like, "Oh my God, hallelujah!" And I'm the guy who always would like her stuff and post it. I always have. My uncle's got a band. 40 Ounces in Folklore. My other cousin's Motor Gun Hotel and Lonesome Outlaws, and I'm always posting their shit. If they get a show, I'm not even in the same state. I post that stuff, share it and do whatever, like it, do all that crap. And it's so funny. They're always the ones complaining that nobody ever does because they got their things going on. But I post my shit, and nobody, and those people who complain that I don't even like my shit or post it. So again, it's self belief. Believe in your path. Just don't worry about what everybody else says. And that's where I'm like, I just can't wait to rub people's faces. And it's just a fun thing for me. It's not my main focus, but like, it's like, I just like the more and more I'm getting these people coming to me, I'm just going, I can't wait to just be like, yep, that's right. Talking all that shit, like, and so it's the same thing with the Snoop thing was like, Chris Carr, and I'll say his name on blast. I could give a shit, But I remember him going. I went to his house and looked at his his place, and he'd already supported me as a rapper as a kid, and we were good buddies. I'm hanging out at his house, and I'm like, he's building his kitchen with Jake, and I'm like, man, this is cool. How much did it cost you? And he's like, that's cool. You're remodeling your kitchen. I want to do that. And like, I just bought a house and remodeled the whole basement to be a recording studio. Pretty dope one at that. And he's like, oh, you could have had the same thing, but you decided to build your little studio. Like, completely hating the fact that I was going for my musical thing, which was always the case since I've been a kid. Moved to Seattle, was going to try and rap out there and do something. I'd always been doing that. This wasn't news. This isn't one like this late idea, right? This has been since I was a freaking kid, And so funny that even your closest friends, like, oh, you're building a little studio. And it was just the greatest thing when I started messing with Snoop Dogg, to where I was like, that's right, bitch. Like I'm sorry, but that's all I can say about that. It's like that hating, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't do the studio, but literally cannot believe that you would ever do that. Like, oh my God, you should have just got your money, bought you a little house, invested in the kitchen, and do some remodeling and take it safe. Meanwhile, he dies in a freaking snowmobile accident. And now he's got a little kitchen that he got to hang out, eat food in. That he could have ate food in any kitchen, but bottom line is nobody's gonna support what you're doing. And if they do, like I said, man, embrace those people. But self-belief, you got to believe in your path and go for it. And these kind of podcasts are very helpful. This kind of information is super helpful to help you understand where you're going and where to stop and look back and realize where you're at, and then keep moving forward. The path is massive, and like Will said, it's already written. You have just got to read the pages. And that's that little bit of action part. It's already been written, believe it, but you better read them pages. You better walk that path. The path is written, but you got to walk it. You got to walk it. I know mine was, and I could have hit that 15 years ago. That's what makes me believe in it so much now, is I go, damn, man, I stopped. That was already written. I stopped for like 7 years getting sidetracked with kids and stuff, which is amazing and a blessing in itself. And that was written too. But like at the same time, I didn't need to slow down because of the kids, because I was just kind of like so like thrown off, and it threw me off my square as far as how to approach what I was going for. But I just know for a fact, if you look back, that if I would have stuck with the path and kept walking it, things would have looked a lot different. You know what I mean? I'd have still had my beautiful sons and all of that stuff, but I would have been in a different place as far as my purpose. So it's then I got back on that path and kept going. And now I can see it clearer than ever. And now every time an opportunity comes my way, I'm completely ready for it. Just had it the other day. All of a sudden, somebody's like, "Yo, what? Let's work." And then it's like, "Oh, well, here you go." And they're just like, "Damn, this guy's on it." So as soon as the opportunity comes, I strike, and it's like, bam! And oh, you're so lucky. No, I'm prepared. Again, preparedness meeting opportunity. That's your luck. So, but you got to know your path, believe in it, keep walking it, and then chance can happen, and then the stars can align for that. And the way they're going to align is a lot more based on what you've been walking in your path. If you haven't been walking in that path and the stars align, you're not on that path, and that light's going to shine on that path, but you're not on it. So it's imperative, that you start doing it, and you have to believe it. If you don't believe it, you won't keep walking down it. And if you keep trying to sell your freaking path to everybody around you, you're only going to get discouraged. You know, you can't sit there and sell some grand path to people who aren't doing anything like that themselves and think that they're going to support that. You know, they don't start supporting you until everybody else does that doesn't even know you. You know, they're not going to support you until everyone else does. You know, till you have 500,000 fans and they're screaming your name and you're on stage, so pretend you're wanting to be a music artist. Um, you know, and they're already screaming your name. Now they're like, "Oh, yo, get me backstage tickets. I known him since." Now they're telling their friends, "Yeah, I knew Jim Bob since he was 13, and he was rapping in the little thing in front of the Clearwater." I remember when he was. I remember Dave Marshall used to say that in a bitch ass way, you know, like, yeah, I remember back when they were just out there in front of the Clearwater rapping like Eminem in front of the thing, battle rapping, you know, and it's like that was what they would have laughed about, but now they had to say it like, yeah, I knew him since then. Before it was like clowning. Now, oh, I knew him. That's my guy. I supported him. So be careful who you're talking to. Stay on your path. Know your path. And I could say it over and over again like I have, but I just believe it so strongly because it's part of my thing. It's not us just going, let's read how to try and inspire people. This is current path that we're doing now, you know. In fact, before we got on here, Will was even like, hey, man, weeks past when I was supposed to ask you about, you know, where you're at with XYZ, and already there's developments. And I still didn't do it as hard as I wanted to do it, you know, but life came through, but I still did just a portion of what I was trying to do, and you know, I start to see the ball rolling, you know, going, okay, this is kind of cool, you know. But yeah, there's something to be said about that. You got to believe in it, or you will never do it, you know.
You'll never see it.
And you gotta like,
You'll never even see it.
you gotta believe it before you see it too. That's the big thing, is you gotta just literally go, I know if I just keep walking down this path, I don't see it yet. I don't know where it is, but I know it's gonna be there at the end. It's just like if you're walking down the road going, I hope there's a gas station around the corner, man, because you're walking with a gas can, you ran out of gas, and you just keep walking. You just gotta hope, you know. Just go but you're walking. That's where you have a good chance. If you stood on the side by the car and just waited till someone came, you know, there's a chance nobody's gonna come. But if you start walking,
It's already happened. You just gotta turn the corner. It's already happened.
yep. All right, guys. I hope we didn't
all I
bore you
got.
with that. I hope you kind of got an idea of what we're talking about. That's that. Something dropped. Anyway, all right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit us up with any questions or comments you have. We'd love to see that in there. Again, like it. If you like this, it'll help the algorithm. It'll help YouTube know to let other people with this like mind check us out. So, peace.
Yeah, through this new process, whole new daily takeoff checklist, whole new audio series, because I'm learning new things. This has been a major development the past 3-4 weeks, so I'm excited to get into this 2022 a little further.
Hell yeah.